Hi, everyone. I'm Stevens College Sports Information Director Nicholas Petroni here with Stevens head basketball coach Joshua Steffen on the second edition of Speaking with Stars. Josh, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great, Nick. I hope you're doing well and excited to have the opportunity to communicate with our supporters and get this out a little bit. We appreciate that you're doing it, and I'm excited to be with you.
First off, how's everyone doing over at your place? How's the family? Everyone safe? Everyone good?
Yeah, we're fine, safe and healthy, which I think in these unprecedented times is really all we can ask for, and we certainly hope for that for everyone in the Stevens community and everyone who might be watching this. That's just the most important thing right now is to think of others, and we think of the medical professionals and delivery people and people who are out there on the front lines, and we're just so appreciative of them. And you talk about selflessness and humility, and that's really what that is. So we're very appreciative and thankful to those people.
So, what are some of the things that you've done while working from home in the last really almost 2 months?
Well, what it changed for us is just the nature of your postseason as far as basketball goes. I mean, we played our last game on the last day of February, which was about 2 weeks before everything really started to get serious and shut down. So we really didn't have any in-person postseason activities. So now, the way that it changed is instead of, the things that you would do in a postseason basketball season being on our campus, it's kind of just been communicating with our players, making sure they're, keeping up academically, things like that, remotely. You have people, we have people in Texas, Nebraska, here in Missouri, obviously, and we've tried really, really hard to communicate with them and encourage them and stay really positive with them, because it's just different. It's different for everyone not being able to see them, in person and things like that. So those have been the biggest things. I think recruiting wise, when you get to April 1st or so in a class, you're working to finish it. It doesn't always finish, early. Sometimes it drags into summer. So that's been pretty much the same working remotely. What's really different is going to be how we all approach the class of 2021, because this is a time of year where you're normally out going to stuff and going to AU, seeing people play in St. Louis and Kansas City and all the places that we go. And obviously those things aren't going on. So you have to be a little more creative with your networking and
Yeah.
reaching out to coaches and watching videos and things like that. So that's really been the biggest change, for me, has been, not being able to see our players face to face, but it's changed, the 2021 recruiting as well.
Backtracking a little bit, you talked a little bit about the communication and what it's been like through some of your returning players or even your new recruits. Would you say that's been the primary focus of your program? And what are some of the other areas at this time of year that have been key for you to focus on as you look to improve your squad for next season?
Yeah, that's been the primary focus for sure, because we will have probably 11, 12 returning players, so a really good core, and we're excited about it. So yeah, in these unusual times and unprecedented, it's just been really important that our players know that we're here for them, that we're hoping for some type of normalcy somewhat soon, but also understanding that uncertainty often breeds negativity and worry, and just trying to talk people through that, let them know that somehow we're gonna get back to what we're used to and what we love to do, which is helping kids succeed in as students and basketball players and people, and we're going to do that again. And then the recruiting has been secondary, but those have really been the two main things that we've focused on since everything changed so drastically.
You talked a little bit about, the communication, the virtual meetings that you've had with your players, and because nobody's on campus right now, what are some of those communication processes been like? What are some of those things that you've discussed? Have you been able to see players working out or practicing, and what's been that process?
I said we're maybe a little more old-fashioned than some of the other programs.
Yeah.
We've had one Zoom meeting, and I've seen some of the nifty videos of everybody on the team passing the ball from screen to screen. We haven't done that. I mean, we've been trying to do a phone call at least once a week, or just texting, just communication. We've been pretty pragmatic about it, and just trying to make sure we're solid academically, you know, we're solid retention wise. You know, if people have an issue, if people have questions, we try to address it, you know, as quickly as we can. But yeah, we haven't done too much with, you know, the online workouts or anything. You know, it's interesting because we want to know what our people are doing, but it really does create an interesting, you know, mode of accountability for the athletes, because we're all spread out, and it's not a matter of, well, how do we know we're lifting? Well, I just saw her. Well, we can't. You know, we're not doing that quite as much. And in this day and age where sometimes if a workout's not on Twitter, you know, you don't feel like it actually happened. There's some accountability to this, which is kind of neat, because we're going to find out, you know, who's working and who's not. So out of, you know, these really unfortunate circumstances, it's created some unique challenges, but also some opportunities for athletes too, I think.
As you've had communication with returning players, obviously, one of the players that won't be returning that just finished her Stevens career was Mackenzie James, set to graduate this May, but with the commencement being moved to August, hopefully you'll get a chance to see her in person and go through that process. But with her having, in this past season, one of the best individual seasons in careers in program history, what can you say that she meant to the program and she helped lay a groundwork as you move forward into your third season?
Yeah, I think so much of it was the stability. You know, I think I said this after our last game when we were speaking about her. You know, she stayed when a lot of other people left, you know, and that's what we need with Stevens basketball right now. People who are dedicated to it, you know, people who want to be here for the right reasons, who are like-minded and want to take this program to places that it's never been before. And, you know, she really stuck it out when a lot of other people wouldn't have handled the adversity as well as she did. And, you know, great athlete, great rebounder, great ability to get to the basket. You know, and she did a lot of things on her own too to improve her game as far as improving her jump shooting and things like that. You know, we had a lot of adversity and a lot of things that were outside of our control. I mean, we had our team together basically for 3.5 quarters, you know, out of 30 games. So it was really a tough year that way, but she was certainly our most reliable player, you know, throughout the entire season, and we're going to miss her a lot. But yeah, she should be really proud of what she accomplished this year and throughout her entire career.
As you go through the recruiting process, hopefully trying to find the next Mackenzie James or, you know, player that's going to contribute significantly to the success of your program, what has the recruitment process been like since you haven't been able to have anyone on campus for you know, shooting practices or to meet players to tour campus? You've been reduced to virtual meetings and communicating through social media. You touched on that a little bit earlier, but I was hoping you could elaborate on that even more.
Yeah, I think the area where we're really going to feel it is going to be with the 2021 graduates, you know, because this is a time of year where if you're doing it right, you're going to games and contacting people, and ideally they come to visit in May, June, July. You know, we're not sure exactly when that's going to be able to happen. So that's going to be a big change. You know, as far as the 2020s, most of the people who were thinking about us pretty seriously or have decided to come had been on campus already. So that was good. I mean, you want people to visit your campus as much as possible, but, you know, that became, you know, impossible with how everything changed so much. But I think, you know, that is going to be a big challenge as we get into the 21 class. But, you know, it's not just us. It's everybody in America, you know. So we'll find out, you know, how that all plays out going forward. But it's like anything else, you know, things work out best for those of us who make the best of how things work out. And you just do the best you can with it every day. And our admissions office has been really great about setting up the virtual tours and setting up the meetings and helping us with that. So I'm optimistic we'll be able to keep building our program through recruiting.